New England Gardening here. Here we have some leftover cuttings or scraps of 14336, which is a green fig with a red interior, and pretty sweet. The tree I have is pretty young, so hopefully it'll improve over time. But I had all these leftover bits of cuttings, so I threw them in the bin here on March 18th, and just give you an example here what I won't say what not to do. I mean, I can still transfer these, but it's a lot easier to transfer these cuttings when you have the root initials, when you just start to see the bumps. And because if you wait this long and you have all the energy that's gone into these roots that have built up in the moss, they're really fragile and easy to break. So transfer them to the cups, and then they weave themselves into the moss, and it's hard to separate them from the moss. And again, they're very fragile and they break easily. So, you know, if you wait this long, it's just more difficult to transfer to the cups, as opposed to just transferring them as soon as you see the little nodules or starchy formations that look like white bumps on the cuttings that the roots will start sprouting out of. So then you can put them into the cups, and then they'll grow into the mixture that you have in your cups, and you'll forego any chance of breakage when doing transfer at that stage. So I'm going to put these into cups. They're very small cuttings, so interesting to see what happens here. So you can see here they're pretty short and thin cuttings, but look at all the roots. Seems to be a strong grower. Just on that little tip cutting there. It's a smaller diameter than a pencil. Here's a second one. Some of these are really, well, interwoven into the moss here. They even got secondary roots forming in the bin here. Waited a little bit too long. Here we go. You can see this one. This is a pretty small piece here, maybe 2¼ 2½ inches long. It's got a little bit more thickness to the cutting though. So this variety seems to be a pretty vigorous growing, at least to the cutting stage, fig. So I definitely don't have to wait too long for this to start rooting. This variety, pretty vigorous. I still have a black Madeira cutting that shows no sign of life whatsoever. And it's been in the bin a lot longer than these. Here's another example of the crazy things that can happen with these cuttings. I could probably cut that in half and have 2 cuttings, but I won't. I'll just plant the lower portion here, and the roots in the air will just dry up, but I'll probably get growth from here. Looks like I'm getting these out of the moss before any rot has set in, but pretty white, and they'll green up real quickly. Those shoots will green up real quick when exposed to light. But you could possibly cut this in half and have 2 cuttings. This is a very vigorous growing variety, it seems. So in comparison, here's a black Madeira cutting I started on March 2nd, and I had 2 of these cuttings, or 1, and I cut it in half, I don't remember. But I've got a tip cutting here in the bin, and nothing. I mean, it's still looking nice color to it. Doesn't look like anything's rotting. Got the bud on the end here, but nothing's going on. So sometimes there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to these cuttings rooting, and then at different time frames. So just give it more time, be patient, and hopefully I'll eventually get roots on this. So this is New England Gardening. Thanks for watching.